my name is Zheng Xie and I'm a senior studying PPE in the College of Arts and Sciences. So for my Ben talk today, I'd like to discuss the topic of artificial intelligence and the law. Specifically, I wanted to delve into the question of, can artificial intelligence ever replace the role of a human judge? So the topic of this talk today actually comes from the final research paper I conducted in a BFS seminar entitled Emerging Technologies. In this course, we were introduced to and discussed the potential implications of a broad range of these up-and-coming technological advancements, which will irrevocably alter our way of life in the present and in the near future. So out of all of these technologies, the one that stood out to me the most was definitely artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence refers to this conglomeration of technologies which can perform human-like tasks by simulating human neural networks and the intelligent learning process. So we are currently entering into what we call the fourth industrial revolution, in which database technologies, big data, and of course artificial intelligence are predicted to take over. So previously, while society might have confined AI and other similar technologies to the realm of hypotheticals and science fiction, it is now becoming a very real reality and seeping deep into our everyday routines, from everyday consumer algorithms such as those that help you shop on Amazon to virtual assistants such as Siri. And on a broader scale, they're also being utilized in military technologies and in financial trading. So while on one hand, the growth of AI is spurred by this sort of ubiquitous societal recognition of its potential as a watershed technology, on the other hand, this exponential, unstoppable growth and development of AI and machine learning can actually carry enormous implications for humans and our roles in society. We only need to look towards history for warning signs. For example, in the first, second, and third industrial revolutions, we can see how these revolutionary technologies actually caused large-scale restructuring of our workforce and the large-scale displacement of so many human roles across society. However, I will argue that the rise of AI raises questions in an unprecedentedly philosophical realm. What does it mean to be human? And more specifically, will some human roles in society remain intrinsically irreplaceable by technology? So I've decided to tackle this multifaceted question with two main aspects, and these aspects can respectively be represented by a simple question. The first question is, can we? And the second question is, should we? So in brief, the first aspect relates to a consideration of the more objective physical, technological capabilities and limitations of the AI judge as it stands today. Whereas the second question brings us into the more complex and controversial moral arena, where it raises questions such as, would we want to be judged by an inhuman algorithm? So in this talk, I will endeavor to defend the position that AI judges cannot and never could replace the role of human judges by virtue of their technological infeasibility and their moral questionability. So similar to other sectors, the jobs in the legal field which involve the highest amount of predictability, repetition, template use, and the lowest need for supervision will be the most susceptible to technological automation. However, you might be surprised to find out that legal AI applications have a much broader range of capabilities than you may have thought. For example, lawbots are legal AI apps which not only automate basic legal tasks, but they can also have conversations with real-life people discussing their real legal dilemmas, and they can provide a prediction of the outcome of a particular case given certain inputs. So to give an example, Elixir is the name of a robot which uses deep machine learning of past legal cases to give free legal advice to victims of sexual assault. So this is an incredible technological breakthrough because it utilizes the simple language of AI to make the complex laws and more obscure legal jargon more accessible to the everyday plaintiff. On top of this, rather than jumping directly to the immediate consultation with a lawyer, the program offers to make its prediction and tell people not only whether they will win or lose the case, but what factors will actually drive that decision. However, despite this amazing range of capabilities, as the nature of legal issues becomes more complex and increasingly dominated by the use of judgment, negotiation, or the design of complex solutions, AI still falls short of human ability. So having given a brief background into the current extent of involvement of AI in the legal sector, we can now begin to consider whether the role of the judge could also be susceptible to machine replacement. Because if we think about it, if AI is on the way to fully replacing legal professionals such as assistants, paralegals, and even some lawyers, and if the work of the judge is largely based on making decisions based on that body of work, are the role of judges entirely immune from this trend? And if not, what would an AI judge look like? So to answer this question, we can look at a recent research study conducted by researchers at UCL, in which they tested the idea of an AI judge by programming an algorithm which aimed to predict the judgment outcomes of documented human rights cases as they were adjudicated in the European Court of Human Rights. So actually, the European Court of Human Rights and its court documents are highly suitable for this kind of AI replication simulation. And this is because the court follows very rigid, standardized procedures, and the court documents always lay out step by step all of the facts of the case, the arguments of the respective parties, and the judgment. So the court's judgments would always follow the standard procedure of identifying whether or not a violation of a specific article took place. So the AI judge in this experiment tried to make these judgments for itself by using a machine learning algorithm to examine case texts and then try to identify prominent judicial patterns within them. So what this means was basically the machine tried to identify and then self-learn the relevant factors of a case which appeared to influence the human judge's decision. So in this case, the AI judge is actually an algorithm which takes on the form of a binary classification task, in which the inputs are large quantities of case text and outputs are +1 for violations and -1 for non-violations. So despite these incredible capabilities, I believe that this binary sort of decision-making process is unlikely to adequately reflect the complexities of cases faced by real human courts. So in these cases, decisions are complicated by a plethora of these subtle underlying factors and patterns, and also involve a lot of non-legal factors whose interaction with the case lie outside of the realm of sort of one-to-one classification. So it would be much more difficult for the AI to accurately assign an objective weight to input factors which do not simply consist of concrete textual facts. For example, an emotionally compelling witness testimony or a psychological assessment of a perpetrator's mental health. So given this, we can see that this AI judge is actually more like an intelligent data organizer, which could support the work of lawyers and also provide crude predictions for case outcomes. Now, despite having done research on most of the major technical limitations of AI, I decided to focus on the one which I believe has the most moral implications, and that is AI's inability to comprehend language which encompasses abstract concepts and general claims. So this is particularly problematic for common law systems such as the US, in which the role of the court and the process of judicial review is characterized not so much by black and white sort of statutory implementation, but rather by the vastly ambiguous gray area of statutory interpretation. So this refers to a judicial duty which involves the intelligent extraction and understanding of implicit concepts from explicit indicators such as statutory language or textual language. So essentially what the AI judge can do is read and retain the plain language of the law, train itself to classify certain actions as right and wrong or as legal or illegal, and then apply this algorithm to the factual patterns of any case. However, what it fails to do is to understand the law as it exists as a fundamentally human-molded institution, and it's unable to grasp the moral justifications behind particular legal rulings and human rights. In other words, the AI judge, when delegated the role of executing justice, is able to know what without knowing why, and hence is entirely reliant on humans to predetermine what justice is and somehow explicitly codify this into its data input. So I think a final most important thing to know is that law and justice never consist of a single truth or a single narrative. So statutory language and even constitutional language can have very different meanings depending on who interprets it and depending on the style of judicial review. So in conclusion, much like how AI artists can make empirically passable art, beautiful art even, without understanding what beauty or art is, AI judges can pass empirically accurate judgments without understanding what justice is. So in this talk, I've attempted to prove that this distinction should matter, and it should matter deeply when we consider the replacement of human roles by AI technologies. So in assessing whether or not AI can replace the role of the judge, what we really need to ask ourselves is not whether or not it has the technical capacity to do so, to which the answer is presently no, but more so whether or not we want to be judged, however accurately, by an entity which does not understand justice. Thank you.